Our next film is Goodbye, Christopher Robin, which is the true story of author A.A. Milne, his inspiration for the Winnie the Pooh series, which was, of course, his son, Christopher Robin, and his childhood toy stuffed animals. Author Milne is played by Donald Gleason, and his wife is played by Margot Robbie, and then the Christopher Robin is played by newcomer Will Tilton. And the film is pretty much a true story, biography, melodrama is the way that I would describe it. And I would say that it is a conventional yet well done melodrama. The scenes that are clearly there to get you to feel, let's just say, make you cry.
Yes.
They got to me.
Yeah.
And they did. I had to hold back a few tears in a few parts. The relationship between the boy and his nanny is also at the centerpiece of this story, and probably the most sincere relationship. In addition to the basic overall story, there's themes here about child exploitation for financial purposes, parents and children focusing too much on their professional life over their family life. There's some of those things there which are good and will resonate with people. But even just as a basic biography which is just for a time period, and to give that background information for the very I believe it said was the most popular children's story of all time with Winnie the Pooh. It's a success, which I would give 3 stars out of 4.
You're absolutely right. On everything that you've said and all the themes it does touch on, like how does a child react, when something that was so personal between him and his father becomes packaged, marketed, and sold to everyone else. I mean, the line between something personal being public, or how do you balance success and fame, and with the goal being to provide for your family while still being, true, being like a father, and so that that's really good. And the performances were very, very strong. I mean, Donald Gleason, son of the great Brendan Gleeson, he's very, very good. It's a long shot, but I think he should get an Oscar nomination because he is just tremendous in the role of this really emotionally reserved, but still very, very human man who is basically trying to come to grips with his past. He's got PTSD. His wife is very superficial. Margot Robbie is good and a pretty underwritten character. But she loves him and he loves her. She's just got some personality flaws. And also very good is Kelly MacDonald as the nanny. She's excellent. She should get an Oscar nomination as well. The problem with this film that I had is, first, like when it's setting up everything, director Simon Curtis doesn't have a good handle on how to lay all the pieces out. But once they start creating Winnie the Pooh, that's when the movie really takes off, and it's a very emotionally rich film, and without ever being heavy-handed. It's got that kind of like dry British reserve a little bit, but it's still a very, very emotional film. And I also didn't think the performances by the actors who played Christopher Robin were very strong. I thought the younger one was a little too cute and precocious, and the older one, I didn't think he was miscast. He was very good in The Imitation Game, but here I just didn't think he was right for the role. And something that I should also mention is that despite the subject matter, despite the family-friendly PG rating, I don't think this is a movie for kids, because for a number of reasons. One, the war scenes are pretty disturbing, and 2, the themes of creativity and family conflict are just going to go way over little kids' heads. And it's a very subtle film. This is not it's not like a traditional kids film with like a lot of cute and funny characters and a lot of movement. It's pretty slow moving, but it's at a deliberate pace. So I don't think it's for kids, at least not for ones who are very, very sophisticated.
Right. Yeah, that's a great point, which I'm glad you bring up, because when I first saw the trailer, I thought about this is a film to take my children to, my older children. My oldest is 11, and I was thinking this is something she'll enjoy, and and it's an innocent enough film as far as in the everything that takes place on there. There's nothing that would maybe give children nightmares, but they're not going to be entertained. It's not a children's film, which you could be misled by.
Exactly.
It's not just a happy father of some sort. Let's put it that way. Yeah. Which is how the trailer at points makes it look like.
Yeah.
And then yes, the war scenes would be
a little disturbing for kids.
A little disturbing,
especially the little ones. Little ones.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely not even little kids, but I would say even a child. This is early teens and up for sure. Yeah. So that's a good point. The other thing I really, and you mentioned it a lot, so much of the acting done here isn't with dependent on the dialogue.
Right.
Like I feel like this screenwriter knew that so much of this film was going to depend on the casting,
right,
and the actors being able to portray those emotions without being able to say it.
Right.
Like these pages were probably had a lot less dialogue than a lot of films.
Right, exactly.
And that was great.
Yes.
And it was great, and it made it so much more powerful. Everything wasn't spelled out.
Right.
And the other thing, without giving anything away, is that so while some of the things that are felt by the child Christopher Robin, and then which lead into his adulthood.
Yeah.
You do get to see, you get to see the other side of that.
Right.
You get to see, an understanding. And the father side, there's no clear villains here. If there's a villain in the film, it's Margot Robbie's character.
Yeah.
Again, she's not a villain. She's just a person
right.
whose flaws are a little harder to reconcile than some of the others in the film. But again, this, note to Hollywood: every film doesn't need a murder or some huge,
all it needs is good writing and good acting.
Yes.
I think this is going to be, I know for a fact that this is going to be on my top 10 list at the end of the year. I give it a 3.5.
Same. I would give it 3 stars out of 4.
Okay. A little disagreement on that, but we both recommend the film.
Yes, absolutely.